Welcome to the Weather Show with Vin Crosby. I'm meteorologist Vin Crosby. Boy, we've got some big storms coming our way. We've got snow. We've got Arctic cold, all to talk about. And it's going to get very, very nastily chilly, dangerously chilly. If you're traveling, we're advising not to travel. Before I get into the specifics of the forecast, a couple of things that you're going to be interested in. Number one, this is the greatest little device I've seen in a long time. If you are into science, if you're into weather, you're going to love this. This is called the DataBot. The DataBot literally has sensors in here that will measure temperature, humidity, pressure, a whole bunch. Let me show you. So in meteorology, this is a great example. When we launch weather balloons, this is what I've been doing in classrooms. Watch the device here as the elevation increases, the pressure decreases. See that go down there live? And then, of course, when the pressure increases, it's when the elevation decreases. And it also has humidity. Look at all these variables that it measures. I mean, this is tremendous right here. All the data is transferable, and it works wonderful with Legos, also with drones. And this right here is the app, and look at all those variables that it does. It does CO2 live, volatile organic compounds, it does temperature, air pressure, altitude, UV index. It's got an X, Y, Z axis that changes with this, so you can do a lot of figures and mathematics and equations, and of course science and the STEM and STEAM applications. And then the other thing that I have to share with you is I'm going to be teaching weather courses that you can subscribe to. I have a new online weather forecasting school called the Weather Forecasting School Initiative. You're going to learn how to forecast snow totals. You're going to learn how to forecast rain totals, tornadoes, hurricanes, and then of course there's a link down below there, or you can go to www.wfsii.com. All this cloud cover out here in the Pacific Ocean, that is a big highlight. But for this graphic, I wanted to show you during the day today, if you look over here, all that white that's not moving, that is snow. Look at all the snow on the ground from southern areas of California back on up through Nevada, getting into the Pacific Northwest. There's a lot of white there, folks. And then, of course, it extends back up into Canada, and that's where we find all that Arctic air. There's a ton of it. This Arctic air mass, I mean, look at some of the temperatures up through here. We've got temperatures minus 50. These are actual air temperatures, minus 50 degrees. Some areas minus 46 degrees, that darker shade of purple. All that is going to drop down to the south. It is going to make a little curl. There's a little kink if you see there in light blue. So we are going to see a piece of that as it makes its way on down towards the south. One of the things that's incredible about cold air, Arctic air, is enormously dry. I mean, it is dry to the point that any moisture or clouds that moves into it just poof, disappears. And that's what's happening with this. The clouds that are kind of making its way in towards this big Arctic air mass are getting sheared off. They're just dissipating. So that Arctic air mass, as it moves down to the west and then drops to the south, that's going to have to move a little bit to allow the moisture to get in. And eventually it will get here. But that Arctic air, boy, it is just a big, big mass of cold, dry air. It is dangerous too. You don't want to be caught outside in this stuff. This next map really tells the story of where I think the snow is going to track. Now, this is a map of probability, so it's not snow totals or anything like that, but it really tells a good story of where there'll be 4 inches of snow or more starting Friday in the evening hours around 5 p.m. going through Saturday, 5 p.m. Notice how thin of a line, how sharp of a line is cut off of the snow as you get up just north of Boise back into northeast Oregon. That's that Arctic air. That's the cold, dry air that's moving in. But there's a high probability in red all the way across southern Idaho, almost all of Oregon and central and southern areas of Oregon. So these areas from Burns back towards Bend, you don't need to be traveling there during the afternoon and the evening hours of Friday and the overnight hours into Saturday morning. Very dangerous conditions. Notice the green, that's where there is a chance of 4 inches or more of 40%. 40% from Melba back over to Marsing, right along the Snake River Valley, down through Mountain Home, Grandview, Murphy, and then you can see that line is right there over South Nampa through Lake Lowell, Wilder, and then up in the light blue, because of that Arctic air, 4-inch snow amounts will be a little bit less, maybe 10%. So there's still a chance. And if there's any change, watch out. There could be some significant snow totals back through Eagle and Boise. But right now, the best chances for the heaviest snows will be pretty much right through the halfway point, if you will, of Ada and Canyon County on the north-south line, going right along Interstate 84. South of that looks like the best chances for some moderate to heavy snows. Now, the wind will be whipping. Visibilities will be very low, so watch out, too, for dangerous wind chills and drifting and blinding snows. Notice up here, back up in the mountains, not a whole lot of snow. This is going to be a southern Idaho storm. We're not going to see a lot of heavy snows for the ski resorts. Bocas will get more than Tamarack and Brundage out of this. And then down to the south, Pomerelle down there will be hammered with snow. And of course, all the ski resorts down around Salt Lake City. Notice how it's nosing down to the south and east as well. So traveling Interstate 84, not advised. I think the best times to travel will be actually very early Saturday morning going on into, say, 9, 10 o'clock. After that, you don't want to be going south and east towards Salt Lake City. All right, if you are driving, make sure your car is winterized. Make sure you have enough gas. Make sure you have some water in the car and some warm clothes in case you do break down and you're stranded for, say, 12, 24 hours or so, maybe in some outlying area. So it is going to be very, very, very cold. Candles are a great thing to bring along, or a flashlight, but your candles will keep you warm. You can light them and, of course, get the light from it as well. And around the Treasure Valley, make sure you have a winter weather preparedness kit as well. Candles are great. Flashlights are great in case the power goes off. Make sure you have some extra blankets as well, and the gloves. And don't forget to wear a hat. You're going to need a hat to keep the heat in. The head loses more heat than any other body part. Overnight low temperatures are looking to drop considerably, like down below zero at times. And with the snow on the ground from the other day, we had a lot of snow. And then the snow that's coming, some areas may get in that 3 to 7 inch range in the Treasure Valley. So that will add to the snowpack. And with a cold Arctic air mass moving on top of it and the clear skies, radiational cooling will be its optimum. And so overnight lows are going to plummet. Some of the coldest and more than likely the coldest temperatures of the season coming over the next, say 4 or 5 days. So be prepared.